Showtime at the Apollo Dome, and she paint the perfect picture, telling stories up in all the jokes. You don't really want the drama, bro, cause Mabel cool, Mayday nice, Mayday want all the smoke. Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim, Mayday Mayhaim.
This is strictly a review. Please do not take any and all commentary seriously. This is just a review of a show. Thank you, and Mayday Mayhem. Welcome to another episode of American Gods Season 3, Episode 6. Now, as usual, it starts off with a story within a story, and we're used to the scribe telling us what's going on, but this time we hear the voice of Wednesday, and he's telling a story of two war gods, Odin and Tyr, and how they traveled across the land getting their spoils from battle, because they know that with battle came money. So as they went across the land, they was fighting and getting money. But Tyr wanted love, which was who? No one other than Demina. So we hear Wednesday telling the story of how Tyr knocks on a door to meet Demina, but how Odin fell in love with her at first sight. Then we see Wednesday at the desk in the facility, and he's writing. And as he's writing, the orderly comes in and tells him, "Mr. Wednesday, it's time for, your snack." He asks the orderly to grab his papers. And the orderly asks him, "Well, Mr. Wednesday, what is this?" And as he leaves, he says, "This is his masterpiece." And this is how we begin the next episode of American Gods, Season 3, Episode 6. As we begin, Wednesday, Demina, and one of Demina's friends at the facility are eating. Now, Wednesday and Demina have a little wager going on, that if he can stay in the facility 1 week, she will go with him and be alongside of him again, and that will kind of pretty much prove his love. But Demina is watching him, and she's doing little things to set Wednesday up to see if he can stay in the facility long enough. And as they're talking, before he can even take one bite of his sandwich, the orderly comes up and asks to speak to him. He knows Demina is behind this. And Demina is a smart cookie as well. She tells her friend she can take care of herself, because she has put pretty much drugs in Wednesday's room. She's planted drugs for him to be caught, and the orderly has found them. He confronts Wednesday about it, but as he is confronting Wednesday about it, the pottery and the receptionist comes in, and he's a little sweet on her and she's sweet on him, and Wednesday picks up on that. And as Wednesday picks up on that, he uses this opportunity for him to get out of his jam that Demina then tried to put him in. So as he's looking, he's in total shock as how easy this is going to be for him to get out of this jam. He talks to the orderly. He tells the orderly, look, I will help you with your little love fest. But we just keep this little situation between us because, as you know, I don't do drugs. I'm not a pill popper. And the orderly, as we know, will take him up on that order. And Wednesday leaves. We now are back to Laura Moon, and she is speaking with Shadow. And as she's speaking with Shadow, she's also having flashbacks of her previous life. Well, actually, her previous death. She's having subtle flashbacks as she's speaking to him. And she's just trying to find out where Wednesday is so she can kill him. And Shadow is not telling. And she's so flustered with him, and she finally asks him, why won't you help me? Shadow finally breaks down and tells the truth why he will not help Laura kill Wednesday, and he will not tell. And that secret is Wednesday is his father. Laura is taken back and is totally in shock by it. And she takes it for what it's worth. And she tells Shadow that, okay, I'm pretty much going to kill your dad. And Shadow was like, I can't help you out with that. She leaves. As she's leaving, they do have a moment because at one point in time, they were in love and they were married. So he gives her a hug. They hug each other, a loving embrace, friendly embrace. And as that is happening, Marguerite comes through the door. As we know, Marguerite is the news reporter and also the little landlady at the place where he's staying, and he also likes her. He pushes Laura away, but as he pushes her away, Marguerite, he introduces her to Laura as his ex-wife, say that they're on family business. She wishes Marguerite luck and tells Marguerite that he is a good guy. They bid adieu, and she's happy that Shadow has found a nice little woman that he has a little sweet son. So she bids them a farewell, and she leaves. We go back to Demina, where she's in her garden because she is the goddess of grain, the giver of life. So she comes from the ground, the earth. She's in her garden. And Wednesday approaches her and tells her that was a nice little joke that he did, that she pulled. That was really funny. Prescription drugs. So she's trying her all to get Wednesday in trouble. So she drops 2 pots. And then the orderlies come in and she tells them that Wednesday did it. So Wednesday was like, yeah, I have slippery fingers. I was trying to get some flowers for you to give to the nice little young lady. And, Wednesday spins things for himself. So he gets up out that jam yet again. And Demina gives a smirk, a laugh, and a giggle as she sees that he's in trouble because she's trying her hardest to get him in trouble. Then we return to poor little media tech boy. Now, as we know, he is trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with him because he keeps glitching for some odd reason. So he's at his facility warehouse where he has a device that will tell him and run like a processing on him to let him know what's going on with him. The machine tells him he is experiencing emotions, and he says he does not never experience emotions. He knows what they are. He does not experience them, and why is he glitching? And the machine tells him the only way he can really find out why he is glitching, it needs to receive an artifact. So he is on the quest to find out what this rare artifact that he needs. Artifact 1, to be precise, that he needs in order to stop him from glitching. We return to Laura Moon and Salam. They're looking for Wednesday. And as Salam is sitting in the hotel waiting for Laura Moon to come back, he sees, he hears people in the background, getting their thing on. This is a motel. He turns the TV on and he sees two men, doing their thing, but they're talking to him. And they're telling him, you don't need a gin, Salam, get you another gin and this, then. And he tells Laura Moon that the TV was talking to him. She dismisses it, tells him you really need to get over the gin. She's really trying to figure out a way to kill Wednesday. Now they find some flyers where Wednesday is supposed to be performing, but as we all know, Wednesday is in a facility. But they don't know that. So they are truly on the quest to kill Wednesday. But also, as they are speaking on that, and as she is telling Salam he needs to let things go and let the jinn go and just be his own person to be free, she sees that the box that is carrying Mad Sweetney ashes in is about to fall off of the dresser, and she quickly runs over to it to catch it before it falls. How ironic. You tell Salam to let go, but you can't let go of Mad Sweetney. We return back to Lakeside, where Allison is still missing, and they're at Mabel's diner with the sheriff, and he is really trying to get a real control over the community because Allison is still missing and there's other things that's going on in the town. So they are very concerned and worried, and the whole town is in an uproar. And before the sheriff can really get everyone in order, Anne Marie takes charge and takes over the whole situation. The sheriff steps over and he talks to Shadow, and he divulges to Shadow that, Lakeside is a place that does not have much crime. The last crime that they really had was in 1981. As we leave from the diner, we go back to Miss World, who has now became a new Mr. World because he is not taking any shit and he is looking for media. As he is talking to his minions, asking where is media and why he has been off the grid, and he's wondering why hasn't he checked in, we return back to Wednesday and his fantastic elaborate plan to win Demina's heart, so to say. He's setting up a shadow show for everyone at the site. And as he's setting it up, he's talking to the orderly, and the orderly is reading through his material. And he's like, yes, Odin is an asshole, but this guy Tyr is a pretty nice guy. But the orderly thinks Wednesday is Tyr. We shall see how this plays out. We then cut to Mr. Mike, aka Shadow, dancing and twirling and having a good time listening to him some good old music as he's painting the walls a salmon pink. Marguerite walks in and laughs, and they have a kiki giggle, and she's very happy to see Shadow. I might say I was very happy to see Shadow. So she invites him to dinner because he invited her to dinner. She invites him to dinner, and she wants him to meet her sister. While she's speaking of inviting him, she also tells him that Aunt Marie owns pretty much everything in that village, and she would not approve of him painting the walls a salmon pink. So she tells him, go ahead, get on back to work or whatever you're doing. She turns on his music and she exits the apartment, and Shadow goes back to painting and doing his thing. But as he's painting, Shadow sees a vision. She's a vision of trees. And then we cut back to media. And as Mr. World is standing there, media sits because he walks in as they're looking for him. He walks clean in through the door. He's trying to figure out what is wrong with him. So Mr. World asks him, where the fuck have you been? We have been looking for you, and you just waltz in here like nothing's wrong. So Tech Boy diverges to him that it's something wrong. He tells Mr. World that he needs something called a Artifact 1, and he has no idea what it is. But Mr. World gives him a fantastic story of how much he needs him, and that everything is just numbers and data, but he gives the data a purpose and control, and that's what he made him for. So he's trying to calm Tech Boy down, but Tech Boy understands it is something wrong. He knows something is not right. And as he should be concerned, as Mr. World, our new and improved Mr. World, leaves, he goes into the elevator and he goes down, and once he gets to his supported area, in comes a stone of some sort, and Mr. World gets on the phone as Tech Boy is upstairs trying to realize and figure out what is wrong with him. Mr. World gets on the phone and speaks to someone, and he's actually telling them that Tech Boy needs this item, which is Artifact 1. And Tech Boy has no idea that this Artifact 1 is actually this stone that he actually needs, and is in the facility under the ground. Now, as Mr. World is talking to whomever he's on the phone with, he tells them that Tech Boy has no idea, and that the artifact is safe underground, and no one even knows that it's there. Tech Boy gets maybe some type of inkling or feeling. He gets up out of the office, which is upstairs. He leaves. As he's leaving, the faceless minions try to follow him. He turns around and tells them, "Back the fuck up." And that is exactly what they do. And Tech Boy leaves. As Tech Boy leaves, Mr. World is far from done with whomever he's speaking to on the phone. He tells them that, yeah, Laura Moon is also looking for Wednesday, and she is definitely looking to kill him. So we then cut to actual Wednesday's performance that's supposed to win Demina's heart. And it's a shadow show with him narrating and the staff helping him to pull it off. And as the narration goes, we continue the story he told in the beginning. The story of two gods meeting and looking around the countryside. Tyr was a god of good heart and good faith, as Odin was a war god that liked to pretty much drink, be rowdy, and do his thing. And as they went off on their trails, Tyr was looking to make Demina his goddess, his wife. But ultimately, Demina and Odin fell in love. And with them falling in love, Demina got pregnant. They got married and they got pregnant, and Tyr was there as a friend and put his heart away, and he watched in, I would say, terror as the woman he really was in love with marries his friend, and now they have a baby on the way. And as Odin is telling, which is now, as we know, the story of him and Demina, we also hear the tragedy of him and Demina. Their child passed away. She did not live. And as Demina and Tyr was burying her baby, Odin was not there to comfort her. He left, and Tyr was there to comfort her. Odin went back on his drunken rages of war, and he never did shed a tear with Demina. She had to share her tears alone and on the shoulder of Tyr. And as this story was told, Tyr is actually in the room, and he puts his hand on Demina's shoulder, and Odin is quite angry to see Tyr there. So Tyr and Demina walk to her garden, and they're speaking and talking and reminiscing. And Odin comes in and he's angry with Tyr, saying that you're just mad that she chose me over you and you just cannot get over it. And she's telling Odin that you fail to realize that we lost a child and Tyr was here. He was there with her. And Odin left. And Tyr is such a good man, and he's an awesome being versus what Odin is. And Tyr, being the friend that he's always been to Odin/Wednesday, he tells Wednesday, listen to what she wants and actually give her what she wants. Don't give her what you think she needs, but give her what she wants and actually listen to her. Let's see, will Wednesday take that advice? We return to Shadow and Marguerite to have dinner when he sees that who exactly is Marguerite's sister, which happens to be Sam Black Crow. Her and Marguerite have the same father, different mother. Ha, what a surprise. Now she knows Shadow as Shadow Moon. She helped him out of a jam when he was traveling in his escapades before he found out Wednesday was his father. She doesn't out him. They have dinner. Everything's all good. And they pretty much enjoy each other's company along with Marguerite's son. As they're enjoying, each other's company, they're having wine and, they're just chilling. We revert back to Wednesday trying to talk to Demina through the door. Now, Demina's in her room and she's speaking with Wednesday through the door. And she knows Wednesday. She knows him so well. She thinks maybe he has changed. And he's telling her he's so sorry that he was not there for her in their time of need, and how he is so sorry, and how he wants to shed a tear with her for the loss of their daughter. And she's like, yes, she's feeling some type of way, like, yes. And then he says, after that, you'll leave with me and then you will fight together in the war. And she realizes that is who Wednesday is. He is no one but someone that wants to fight. And she says, that's the God I know. That's the man I know and remember. And she tells Wednesday that she will leave with him tomorrow when she is released. But first, she would like to say goodbye to all of her friends at the place. And Wednesday, of course, agrees to that and tells her he wants to bid her a fair adieu. She may leave and tell her friends goodbye. So we leave that. We go back to Shadow and Sam. Shadow is walking Sam to her car, and she's pretty much giving him the spiel, telling him, you better not mess with my sister or you know it's going to be a problem. So as he walks her to the car and she leaves, Shadow is, pretty much saying, he's liking this atmosphere and everything. He sees her car, Sam's truck, leave, and he sees little sparks of red amber floating in the air, and he's kind of mystified at it because he's still thinking about, what Sam said about Marguerite, to take care of her. She's been through a lot, especially with her oldest son. So he's in awe of the night and he sees the ambers, but the ambers are showing him something. And he looks around and he sees someone jumping out of a house. And he chases them. And whom is it as he chases them? It's no other than Derek from Mabel's Coffee Diner. and he drops a bag as Shadow is chasing him. And the bag has female undergarments in it. So now we know that it has been Derek the whole time stealing these undergarments, and Shadow gets a clear look at him. He sees the bag even has the Mabel's Diner inscription on it. What will Shadow do? Now, we then cut to poor little Laura Moon and Salam. Now, they are looking for Wednesday. And as they are looking for Wednesday, who pops up? None other than Mr. World himself. And he tells Laura he pretty much think he can help her with that Wednesday situation. But before he can help her with that Wednesday situation, we must go back to Damina leaving. As she's about to leave, her friends at the place are really upset and they're crying. They're shedding tears. They're really hurt. And Wednesday tells them, oh, don't cry. Everything's going to be okay. This too shall pass. He sees his assistant. She has gotten his clothes and everything. And she tells him Damina is outside. As he looks out the window, he sees Damina. And she's walking in the garden, the place where she loves. She's walking in the garden. And he gives a wave and a smile at her. But as she walks, the frost clears. She looks back at Wednesday. She looks up at the sky. And she goes back to the earth from which she came. She starts to churn and disintegrate into birds and sky and into dust and amber and stalk and wood. She goes back to where she came from. So when she left, she truly did leave. And when she left and evolved and disintegrated back in the sky, it immediately started raining. Her and Wednesday never shedded a tear with each other for the loss of their child. So in essence, this is her way of shedding her tears with Wednesday for the loss of their daughter so many, many centuries ago. And that is the end of American Gods. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will see you next time for another episode of American